Welcome back to Chelsea News TV, and we're first going to be looking at Chelsea flop, Kenedy's exit from Stamford Bridge, and next we're going to be looking at Bayern Munich winger Kingsley Coman's move to Chelsea. So starting with Kenedy. Chelsea outcast Kenedy is in talks with Flamengo to finally leave the club on a permanent deal, although the Brazilian side's director admits that a deal will be difficult to do. Still only 25, the versatile Brazilian signed from Chelsea from Fluminense from back in 2015, but has spent most of his time since then on loan elsewhere. Kenedy initially stayed in England on his loan spell, turning up for Watford and Newcastle, but then went further afield, spending time at Getafe and Granada in Spain. Remarkably, he still has 3 years left on his contract at Chelsea despite not playing for them in any competition since 2018 and not in the Premier League since May 2017. Flamengo director Bruno Spindle says that talks have begun to bring Kenedy back to Brazil, but says the finances of any deal will be difficult to sort out. He references the high price Chelsea paid for him in 2015, £6 million, and also issues with the value of the euro. Kenedy is a very interesting athlete, Spindle said. Flamengo are talking. It's also very difficult. He's from Chelsea. He's an interesting player who's had a great season. Now it's very difficult negotiation. An athlete who was transferred for a very high fee to Chelsea. We would like to have him, but again, even because of the financial situation, the value of the euro, everything that happened, we see it as a very difficult situation. Kenedy turned out 44 times for Granada last season, scoring 8 goals in what was his most prolific campaign to date in terms of appearances and finding the back of the net. So it looks like Chelsea flop Kenedy will be at last leaving Stamford Bridge after having 6 years at the club. Most of his time was spent out on loan, which has been very difficult for him as he could not make a mark in the Chelsea squad. With many managers have gone by since then, Kenedy will not be having any game time under Thomas Tuchel, as Thomas Tuchel is looking to bring in reinforcements this summer. And with players already needed and already have in the form of Pulisic and Callum Hudson-Odoi, flops will not be making a return back to Chelsea. So it looks like Kenedy will be finally leaving Stamford Bridge after having a terrible 5 years or so at the bridge. It's been tough for him, but Chelsea are looking to bring in new wingers as well, which we'll be looking at in the upcoming news, with Kingsley Coman one of the most highly featured ones that Chelsea are looking to bring. With Chelsea looking to bring in a striker this summer in the form of Erling Haaland or Harry Kane, Chelsea will need to fund the money as the asking price looks to be well over £150 million, which is so much, so Chelsea will need to be funding players, so will need to get rid of deadwood such as Kenedy to bring the revenue in. So people like Kenedy at the club will no longer be at Chelsea this summer. Before we get into the next news story, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell for daily uploads. So now we're going to be looking at French winger Kingsley Coman. Bayern Munich have caused a stir at Stamford Bridge by attaching a nosebleed inducing £86 million price tag to their French winger Kingsley Coman. Rather than cast the deal aside, however, Chelsea have 3 players within their ranks who could be auctioned off to make way for the electric winger. Coman was used primarily from the bench during France's unsuccessful Euro 2020 campaign, which was ended by Switzerland on Monday. Still, when he did enter the fray, his pace and close control looked menacing, attributes which have not gone unnoticed by clubs around Europe. A number of Premier League clubs have been mentioned with regard to Coman, but Chelsea are a prospective destination that seems to have been touted more than the rest. So now we're going to be looking at the 3 players who could be sold by Thomas Tuchel to attain Coman this summer. In many ways, it would be a shame to call time on Ziyech's fledgling career at Stamford Bridge. The former Ajax man only joined the club last summer in a £40 million deal, and he showed quality in flashes over the course of last season. However, as a more of a natural attacking midfielder than an out-and-out winger, the silky left footer does not fit neatly into Chelsea's system. Furthermore, given the embarrassment of attacking riches at Stamford Bridge, a player of Ziyech's calibre should have really amassed more than 23 league appearances last term. With AC Milan reportedly interested, the club should be open to recoup a similar fee to what they paid for the 27-year-old if he is to move on. Bayern Munich have been linked with Chelsea youngster Hudson-Odoi for what seems like an eternity. To fend off the German champions, he signed a lucrative 5-year deal contract at Stamford Bridge in 2019, which saw the teenager earn a staggering $100,000 per week. However, since being shown that expensive symbol of commitment by the club, Hudson-Odoi has ultimately failed to progress in the way many people thought he will. At just 20-year-old, he still has so much time to improve and stamp his authority on Chelsea's attack, but is Tuchel prepared to wait around? Valued at £30 million, a sale to Bayern could make a significant dent in the treasure chest, where they would need to lure Coman the other way. Ross Barkley had achieved just over 10 league appearances per season during his 4 campaigns at Stamford Bridge. Granted, last term was spent on loan at Aston Villa, which left many people confused about what the standard the 33-cap England international is currently playing at. Although he started extremely well, his performances gradually fell away during the course of the season and Villa decided not to make the permanent move. He did, however, demonstrate enough to generate links with Newcastle and West Ham, who could be in positioning to take the punt on him at a reasonable price. Whichever way it's spun, it appears as though Barkley is surplus to requirements under Thomas Tuchel and the club are preparing to cash in. So it looks like Chelsea will be funding players to get in Kingsley Coman from Bayern Munich, as Bayern Munich have told Chelsea the asking price of £86 million for their French talent. Chelsea will need to sell players to raise that money, as Chelsea look to bring in a centre forward as their top priority in the form of Erling Haaland, who is well over £150 million. So thank you for watching and hope you like and subscribe for more content, and come on, you blues.